Well, joining us now is Dr. Abigail Favale. She is the author of Our Lady of the Sign. It's her first novel, but she's no stranger to writing. She has a master's degree in women writing and gender and a doctorate in English literature. One of her most famous nonfiction work is The Genesis of Gender. So welcome so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm just reading all these things you've done. I didn't think we'd get to the interview. You've done too much. Before we talk about your novel, Our Lady of the Sign, can you give us a brief overview of your conversion to Catholicism and why do you think you describe it as an unlikely conversion?
Right. Yeah. So you're referring to the subtitle of my conversion memoir, which is Into the Deep: An Unlikely Catholic Conversion. Well, I mean, I was raised Christian. I was raised evangelical, but after college, I pretty much stopped practicing Christianity altogether and became very interested in feminist theory. You mentioned that I had done gender studies, a degree in gender studies, and in my 20s, really, that was kind of my religion. And so by the time I entered the Catholic Church, I was coming from a very unexpected direction, right? A lot of Protestants convert, from directly from evangelicalism, but I was converting to Catholicism as a progressive feminist. So that's not really a trajectory that you often see these days. So the questions I was wrestling with were different than a lot of questions that Protestants typically wrestle with. They were definitely the questions about the priesthood, contraception, sexuality, right? The kind of feminist objections. So that's what I write about in my conversion memoir.
So in the midst of all this, Abigail, what prompted you to write a novel?
Well, fiction's my first love, honestly. I've written fiction since I was a little girl. And, I love both modes, right? I have a degree in philosophy, also a degree in literature. So I kind of like toggling between them. But um, I finally did write a novel. I've written short fiction before, but this is my first novel. And I really wanted to explore many of the same themes that appear in my nonfiction work, like themes about the dignity of women, the dignity of the body, about the sacramental nature of reality. I wanted to explore those same themes, but in kind of the realm of the imagination and the realm of fiction, because I think fiction can kind of make us feel and experience truth in a way that's a little bit different than a more intellectual argument. So I wanted to try a different mode, I guess, of exploring a Catholic vision of reality.
Okay, now we can't give, everything away, but could you give the viewers just a synopsis of the story?
Sure. Yes, yes. I won't spoil anything
Okay.
because it is, I mean, I wrote it to be a page turner as well. So it is, a kind of supernatural thriller, I guess. So it's meant to be something that is gripping story. But it's basically the premise is that the main character, her name is Simone, she is kind of randomly possessed by the urge to return to her childhood home. She's feeling very kind of dissatisfied in her life, and she's wrestling with a very important dilemma that I won't spoil for you. So she realizes that she can actually rent her childhood home, which is in rural Idaho. It's the dead of winter, as an Airbnb, right? So she just decides she's going back, and she hasn't been back in about 15 years. And so she returns to this place. She's kind of running from a situation in her life, and there's also something from her past that's really haunting her. Um, and as she's staying in the house again in the dead of winter, this novel actually takes place in the last week of Advent. So this is kind of the perfect time of year to read it. Um, Strange things begin happening in the house. There's an unsettling presence that begins to make itself known. And she's not a religious person, right? So she doesn't know whether this is real, whether she's imagining things, whether she's going crazy. She doesn't even know whether this kind of thing that's revealing itself is good or evil. So that things kind of escalate from there. So that's the basic premise. I'll leave it there.
Isn't it true it's different reading fiction from nonfiction? And which do you like writing the best now that you've experienced both?
They're so different that I like the processes are so different. Writing fiction is almost like riding a horse that's not quite broken. You don't know quite exactly where you're going to go, and you might get thrown off in unexpected ways. So there's something kind of exciting about it. Whereas there's something much more methodical about nonfiction writing that also can be helpful. But I have really enjoyed going back and forth. So I think I want to try that. Right now, I'm actually starting a new book, but it's nonfiction. So I'm kind of going back into that mode. And but I hope this isn't my only novel. I hope it's just the first one.
It is just the first one, I can tell. It's just the first of many. Abigail, for people who are thinking, what a great Christmas present this would be, how would they get a copy of the book?
Well, I would recommend getting it directly from the publisher, which is Ignatius Press. So you can go directly to Ignatius Press website. You can also, of course, get it from Amazon or Barnes and Noble or any other place where books are sold. But I really do recommend it as a Christmas gift because again, it's a kind of a chilly but redemptive story that is best read, I think, in this time of year.
Abigail, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank
I
you.
hope you
Bye.
have a wonderful day.